Today, as we always do at the end of our streams, we'll do GTO Wizard license giveaway for 3 license for 1 month. So if you don't have GTO Wizard, it's a great opportunity to test the tool, and it's kind of a very efficient way of studying. Not only with the solutions already there, so you don't need to spend time solving anything, but also like the features they have on analyzing range versus range and reports and training is just very good. So yeah, at the end we'll do the giveaway. Here multi-way, nothing we can do. If it was just versus one guy with the ace of diamonds, we would continue. Ace deuce off, also very close here, usually a fold. But depending on the guy, you can open a bit more. So it looks like a wreck. Yep. So I'll try betting myself. Not a good hand that you can check call or check raise. I feel like it does have a lot of air that will fold, and we can pick up some good equity to barrel. But yeah, not a. If I had like king jack of spades, then could be a hand that I could check call, check raise. Check folding is fine too, so we don't need to force ourselves to win every single pot, but yeah, I think it's okay to bet there. Here, for example, kind of similar spot, but now with ace king. It's a hand that you can very easily check call. Turn is close. This guy has 18% VIP only. I think we can fold, and then table 2. A very good combo to raise here. Probably very high frequency raise in theory. Yeah, this third we'll have to play a very polar strategy. So betting small or medium is not really a thing, I believe. So we'll bet. Of course, it's kind of sucks when he jams, but he's not going to jam too often there, and we will have some good hands. One thing that I always like to mention as well is that when people open for 2.2, our defending range gets much wider. So it's very normal to see kind of players a bit inelastic, at least pre-flop with the sizes. So if they opened for 2x, for example, you're gonna like hijack versus big blind, you're gonna start defending things like 8-7 off, 7-6 off, not full frequency, but you know the range does get much wider, and a lot of suited hands too. And some people play kind of a static range and not really adjust to the sizing, so you need to pay attention to those things too. The bowling we call a 3-bet. And we're a bit deep. So those suited aces, they're very good when we're a bit deeper. And the strategies change a bit, so he cannot see bet as much, he cannot use bigger size as much as he would when we were 100 BB deep. I think this hand can do both betting, and I think we bet here half pot probably. Have kind of a high RNG, so I'm gonna check, but yeah, I think betting is good. We'll definitely bet turn if he checks to us. And I do think we call, still ahead of some bluffs, still have equity to improve, even the ace is live sometimes. Yeah, I don't think we can value bet, but do expect to win a lot. Oh, okay. Liquid Lem SC. Do you think GTO is bullshit since the output depends on the parameters you give it? What is really GTO when nobody uses the same sims? So it's a good question in the sense that I think it's important to talk about like how to, not really what is GTO, because it's no one really plays GTO, because it's, you know, it's not like poker is not a solved game. So how you use the sims and how you use the solver, the main thing is that you can use it, like you should use it to learn the fundamentals of the game and understand, like taking heuristics of different spots. Not sure this one. And really like maybe should bet. And yeah, basically understand how the ranges interact in certain spots, and for sure you're going to be a more solid player, because that's how the game works. So even though no one is playing the same exact ranges and strategies from the solver, you can definitely use the solver to kind of derive good strategies and just play a solid game overall. So diamonds here will not bet as much as, of course, spades and hearts. I think those hands we're not going to bet as much at all. Still probably checking. Yeah, still checking. Moving to sevens and yeah, nice. 7, 6x, that's kind of the hands we're expecting. Not sure if we do have some other bluffing hands. Not sure if we would use this. So yeah, I believe playing around with the solver and going deeper into the solutions to understand why the interaction of that range versus range on a certain spot generates a certain strategy, like a strategy that bets small, very high frequency, for example, or that only wants to bet big, or that always checks, like why that's the reason. And when you go deep, you start learning and understanding some very important fundamentals of the game, that when you go to a spot for the first time, even if you haven't seen the simulation of those two ranges, by knowing those concepts or at least having a good idea, you can definitely play a good strategy there. Probably okay to see bet small here with most of the range, and of course folding this hand, but still continuing a lot with some backdoor stuff, some other, yeah, like all the good shots, and trying to think something like king 9 with the backdoor, probably folds too. Yeah, I called there. Not sure if he bets that. I think he can still bet like all his pairs, like 8s, 9s, 7s, things like that. But I don't know if he would go that quick for that size, for the 2/3. But yeah, he did river the top pair, which we also blocked. Should be okay. Here, I think this board is interesting, because if it's like Jack 5-3, I think you mostly want to go for the 1/3. But then when it's Jack 9-3, Jack 10-3, Jack 8-3, I think you mostly want to size up already. So Jack 7-3 is kind of in the middle. Probably all strategies are okay if they are. I mean, I'm not saying that you need to split your range into different sizes, but probably if you pick a size and just create your C betting range around that, I think it's it's super fine. Don't need to only bet 1/3 or only bet 2/3 or anything like this. Table 2 here, we open, kind of a close open, but again, I have a recreational here, and that's why the reg kind of called from the small blind probably, because of the recreational. And we just check down the 8x, and now we call the third. Block seems fine. You see, like you can adjust a bit your ranges depending on the players you're playing against. I have two interesting hands here. I'm trying to think if we do bet half pot or more a third. Yeah. Table 1, kind of the type of board that I mentioned that in position can start sizing up. I believe Queen Jack will raise more frequently than Queen 4. There are a lot of course, turn cards that change the board a lot. I think we can block. Probably 2/3 is fine too. Check raise already, the ace jack. The blank turns we're gonna have a very polar range and mainly bet for the geometric size. On those, I think we can, or we should just have a small size or check. This hand will go on both, and then he still has like a lot of ace king, ace queen. He does have some flushes, but I think we can still get value from the ace 10, ace king. Yeah, maybe some ace x with spade, or without, because he folded. Liquid Clements, if someone just tried to play like solver and didn't deviate, do you still think they would have a win rate? If someone didn't deviate from the solver output, for sure, would have a very good win rate. Of course, there will be a lot of spots that you could use. You could use some, like how population plays to get even a bit more EV, but definitely would like you would make a lot of money because people will deviate themselves in some, like they would either overfold or maybe overcall some lines. But in general, yeah, a balanced strategy, which is like what the solver gives you, would definitely make money. Playing versus the field, playing another versus another bot or another solver, then it's just gonna break even and lose to the rake. Here ace queen off. Trying to think if we go for, I do think we go for the polarize, very polarized geometric. Yeah, I think so. Still has like some other ace-x. Yeah. And table 2, we just got a flush draw and check raised a good board for us. I think it was, yeah, 9-6-5. Queens here, mainly for betting. Here again, one of those spots, queen 7 off, not an open from the button, but the guy folds a lot to 3-bet, like to open, like 6-4, and he 3-bets like very little. So definitely strong range here. We would be most likely overfolding, like even our hands that would be kind of close calls. Yeah, 9-3-3, we see that the third. Checking behind here. I think he does have some king x. He calls a lot with ace x, king x. Now, of course, he still has like maybe some 4x, a lot of pocket pairs between like deuces and 8s or 7s. Ace x, I do think we can still value bet here. Get calls from ace highs. And those 5s. Versus the raise. That's actually how, how out of position punish is in position. When in position reopens thin. Maybe our best size when we reopen would be half pot. I don't know if the weaker 9x would go there. Maybe you can reopen all the pocket pairs between the king and the 9. Maybe the best ace, the best 9x. 9-7 probably close. In general versus population, they will have a more capped range than the solver does, so they will not put as many check raises. So as many check raises as solver does. So we can see check raising frequency of population in general will always be smaller than check raise in, from the solver. So you in practice you can go a bit more for thin value, but yeah, like against good players and players that understand the game, you're going to be put in some of those spots, so you cannot go as thin. Because they basically make this type of hands indifferent, and yeah, you kind of lose the bet that you made. Depending on the player, you can snap call, but yeah, there I was not very confident on that call. Eights. Eight's already very close versus normal size versus this very big size. I'm trying to think here, but I think we can fold. Yeah. Vinicaut, how can you deviate correct if you don't know what theory should be? So in my opinion, no GTO is important, you can deviate from it exactly. So very good point from Vini there. By knowing how the equilibrium of strategies look like, you can make very, very good exploitative plays. So by knowing how, you know, the ranges interact and what strategy, what would be the correct strategy in Solverland, you can then take the information you have about how population plays, and you know, you can really exploit the field and kind of gain even more EV than the solver shows in a lot of spots. Of course, that's not easy to do in all spots, but in a lot of the simpler spots, it is quite straightforward, and like a lot of river spots, you can know if people are overfolding or overbluffing or underbluffing and things like that. So you can, you know, you have more incentive to shift mixed strategies or whatever is close to one direction or the other. Kind of close here. Yeah, I would just call down. Not sure.